age is coming to an end, my friend. Twilight is falling, but a little light still remains.
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for the 7th and final episode of Atari Twilight Twist of Fate. This is the epic finale of this season of the show. This one is ever so eloquently named Never Say Never. And as always, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon. Link for that down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the community, be a part of the conversation, be a part of the community. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the Michigan bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, Greg tries to kill one of these people. And two, in-game and out-of-game, you decide. And two, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to this channel for all kinds of cool things such as art, production, and eventually hiring someone to do my job for me. That being said, I turn things over to Greg to take us back to the 80s that never was.
Thank you so much, my friend. And it's bittersweet to conclude a tale, but it is also a joy to get the opportunity to conclude a tale. So with that, for one last time, we have to go back to go forward. And there's always a question at the end. And our question is, what is heroism? Is it valor? Is it duty? Is it sacrifice? Once made or named a hero, can the title or deed be taken away? Now, if the comic books are to be believed, even the worst villains can make amends. Magneto can lead the X-Men, Venom can help the innocent, and Harley Quinn can reject the clown prince of crime. But can heroism fade? Maybe the better question is, can a hero rest? When is their mission accomplished? When is their heroic job considered well done? Do we let them rest? Or do we demand our heroes stand to post until the end of their days? That hardly seems fair. On raven's wings, we now fly, circling down through a darkening December night and into a recently arrived dawn. In our descent, we momentarily ride a thermal with a clockwork owl that eyes us suspiciously. But the sky belongs to no creature, so we pay the metal bird no mind and spiral further down. Before we land, we backlift with a flap to suspend ourselves momentarily in the air. We rise and then drop lightly to the blacktop. In front of us, 5 figures stare at an approaching army. JD, the son of a leader and wielder of the One Ring, possessing the secrets of Morse code and an understanding of the oddities of their hometown of Garrett. Heather, a dreamer of fate, wielder of the Vorpal blade and weaver of the intangible. Ricky, gifted the bow of a hero, the bow of fabled Robin Hood. He stands against an enemy that threatens his friends. Scarlet, a 2-gun rig of sandalwood and prayers sits slung on her hips. Hers a lineage of heroes and champions. Ahead charges the army of Happily Ever After, and the Raven hops onto a nearby abandoned car to watch the festivities. My friends, welcome to the finale of our chapter. Welcome to Atari Twilight, Twist of Fate, Episode 7, Never Say Never. And everybody, if you could, please go to our Spotify playlist, because here in the 80s that never was, or the 80s that forever will be, we do everything to a soundtrack. And so if you could scroll down to track number 14, cue up a little Loved by the Sun. And as this artificial dawn, or this dawn from another world, spreads across the street just in front of George Butts's house, it bathes the asphalt in a warm, rich glow that pushes back the December gloom. Called to being and led by a lion with a gray muzzle and a gray face, old, with wisps of the white creeping into the mane itself. Skinny, he runs in front of the horde of good. Above them, Falcor the Luck Dragon takes to the sky, a loud laugh in the face of what could only be stress and tension. From Legend, Jack and Lily rush forth. Mad Mardigan, Sorsha, and Willow take to the streets. Above flies a figure with hands on hips, punching out one fist, holding a dagger, and a crow and a cock-a-doodle-doo issues into the air as Peter Pan and his Lost Boys enter Garrett. Heroes from comic books, television, movies, and novels rush forth. Not just the heroes and the legends of the paperback exchange, but the heroes and legends of the 80s. They take to the streets, to the fields, to the skies. They have been summoned here for one thing: to protect, to defend, to win. Behind the lion leading the charge, who pads forward and does not stop, his thin frame rushing directly at Heather. Behind this lion, a large, regal beast of similar kin. Another lion steps forward, nodding, issuing commands as these heroes of old rush to every corner of Garrett. He moves forward and stands in front of you all. But it is the smaller lion, the lion leading the charge, that, if allowed, will crash into Heather. My friends, you stand before Aslan, the general of the army of happily ever after, said army taking to the streets of your hometown, and the cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz is going to crash into your friend. What do you do?
How is Heather reacting as he's coming up?
Heather is, once recognizing the lion, begins to run forward, and so she may meet him in the middle, perhaps separating herself from the rest of the group.
Yeah, I think Scarlet would just kind of step back. She's got that aluminum bat resting on her shoulder. And yeah, she just watches with a smile.
Yeah, I think Jesse's doing the same thing.
JD, as you see this fantastic sight in front of you, not overpowering the scene, but a whisper in your mind that you've heard only once before. The whisper says, "I have returned." And you feel something warm in your pocket of your jacket.
Go to grab it.
You feel a band of pure gold.
I clutch it in my palm and then I let it go.
As you all watch, this cowardly lion crashes into Heather and nuzzles up like a house cat of 100 times the size, and tears dot and stream and darken the gray hair of the face, the gray fur, and he just keeps repeating, "Eat her, my bestest friend."
Heather embraces him, and she also nuzzles him, her head and her face shoved into his mane, and so her voice is muffled by the mane as she says, "Lion, kitty, you're gold and silver now. All the precious metals. So good to see you."
He doesn't even look up. He just keeps that contact, that constant like moving along your face. And you just hear him speak, sometimes into your shoulder, sometimes above and off to your ear. And he just says, "I kept my promise. I wasn't scared. I kept my promise."
You're such a good boy. You're a good boy.
You can feel him trembling. You're unsure if that is adrenaline, fear, excitement, or all of the above.
Well, Heather's trembling too, as she is.
Aslan steps forward, the great lion, and as he begins to kind of get the just the end of the armies of happily ever after here, as a white car kind of screeches up behind him, and he turns and issues a command to Speed Racer, who shifts the Mach 5 down and spins off into Garrett, punching a fist in the air that is mimicked by his companion Chim Chim as the punch goes up from the passenger seat. And Aslan turns, knowing that the heroes that he has led here will do what must be done. Scarlet, during all of this, the arrival, the dawn, the reintroduction of Lion to Heather, your eyes go back to George Butts's house, more specifically to the fence that was the palisade upon which Ricky and George fought against the Horde. And they're standing in the corner, presumably on a barrel or half climbed up the inside of the fence. Ben McKenzie waves a hand towards you. Everybody, let's see. Heather, JD, Ricky, take 5. We are having a bit of a flashback. My friends, if you could go to your Spotify playlist, please play track number 3. Mr. Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes. Several minutes ago, before the arrival of this fantastic army, Scarlet Blake threw herself through a portal in time, a slide, to fetch one Autobot, a member of another group of kids named Ben McKenzie. She had met Ben once. They had achieved great victory on a field of their own. But this time, without thought of herself, she jumped into this portal to save this young boy that she had only met on one summer day. Scarlet, you land, and there is no portal. There is no tunnel. There's a sound of one. You still hear that swirl and that rush. But the boy looks at you, staring past your shoulder. But when you appear, his eyes meet yours, and for a moment, you see yourself reflected in them. And he says, "It's you."
Hey, Ben. And she puts her hands on her shoulders and she gives him a big hug.
You meet him halfway as he throws his arms around you as well. "How did you find me?"
"We're here to help. A scientist, like weird science stuff. I don't know how it works, but Jerry and George are here. They're waiting."
Tears are streaming down his face.
And she goes to point to where she thought she came through the portal. But you said he doesn't see it, or?
Right. As you turn to kind of look over your shoulder, your gaze takes the room and you realize it is a cell. And you see stacks of magazines and comic books. You see what looks to be a life lived over several months.
Where are we?
He doesn't forcefully or put any power in it, but he grabs your shoulder and he says, "Jerry and George are here?"
"Yeah, they're waiting on the other side of the slide. They're..."
You got to promise me something, Scarlet.
"What?"
"Don't tell them how long I've been here."
"Okay, how long have you been here?" And she's looking at him really, like, what does he look like?
He looks about a year older than when you met him.
How long have you been here?
I think a year.
A year? But
Is it 1990?
no, December 31st, New Year's Eve,
Tears are just
1989.
pouring down his face. Don't tell him.
"Oh, I won't." And she puts her hands on the shoulder and she gives him like another big hug. "We're here to get you. It's a whole that's the mission right now, is to get you back. I don't know how I don't know how it happened. I'm sorry. We
You hear
just
him-
met everyone tonight.
You hear him whisper into your ear, almost gave up hope.
Don't give up hope. And she kind of pulls back and she looks at him, and like her eyes are kind of like bright, and she kind of smiles. Don't give up hope. Never say never, okay?
He nods.
They just got back to Garrett. Like we had to do a spell, and then this force field had to come down, and then boop, they were like right there in front of us. And like your friends like Jerry and George and Mitch, he talks a lot, and Shannon, she's kind of attitudey, and this old, and
He
then
nods
and
at each
Rob,
of those.
and like Rob's there, he's kind of quiet. And then this old doctor guy, he's an older version of a doctor here. Does this make sense? Because I don't know if this makes sense to me.
He's nodding the whole time.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot. You hear a pounding on the door outside of the cell. Hey, who's there? What's going on? And you hear a key starting to rattle.
Is there
And
anything in this room other than comic books?
certainly
I'm
nothing
not-
to defend yourself with.
Yeah, I don't have my guns anymore, I take it, or my bat. Okay. Yeah, she kind of like puts her hands to her hips, and oh shit.
Before you, just as if it's coming into focus, or just as if it's revealed by a retreating fog, you start to see that purple swirl in the air. And Ben indicates it. Is that it?
That's it. It's got to be it. Otherwise, we're screwed. And then is the door going to be opening? Because she reaches down for a stack of comic books.
As you begin to do this, Ben grabs your hand and you run into the portal and assume the position that you had previously, where you are grabbing hold of him with Ricky holding onto you. But for that moment, you are unaware of how you became entwined in this particular way. There was just the cell, and now there is the chain. But Ben continues to look right at you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, are we back outside now?
Yeah, and
Okay.
time creeps up, and as it zips forward, you still see Ben with his hand up as he lowers it down, and you hear 3 words come across to you in the street. Never say never.
Never say never. She kind of says under her breath, and she waves at him again and smiles.
And Ben McKenzie jumps down and disappears from sight. My friends, Aslan is before you, a lion of legend himself. He moves forward, the pads of his feet making a large or a meaty sound as they touch the asphalt. You've all done a wonderful job. Now, your final task is to stay safe. This war is ours to wage. You have been fighting alone for far too long. Protect those you love and get somewhere safe. Van Halen steps forward, looks at all of you. Mr. Lewis and I got all of your families to the farm. Veronica and Jackie should have found your dad and taken him to the farm too, she says directly to Ricky. We can wait there until they need us. Aslan turns to the cowardly lion. Lion will stay with you. Protect them, lion. And for the first time, the gray lion breaks contact with Heather just enough to look back. With my very heart, General. Aslan nods. Stay safe, and we will meet again when the battle is won. He doesn't leave, but you see that he is going to begin to move back. If you have questions, you can ask him. You may speak with one another, but if not, and nothing is said, the great cat turns and begins to pat away those thump, thump, thump
I think Scarlet will say something to him.
Sure.
Shouldn't we help?
If a lion can smile, he does.
We can't.
My
I can't.
dear,
We can't just not do anything.
This is our home.
hmm,
We can't be expected just to leave it to fate.
We're here to be by your side.
you have led us to this point. There are dangers. You have faced them by yourself. Let us sweep up. It is the least we can do. My job is to keep you safe, Lion as my proxy. I vowed to do just that and fulfill the ancient contract. But I will not put you in danger. Your fight, as it would be, is over. Protect yourselves and those you love. There is still danger, but we will wage war.
I think Scarlet kind of leans against Ricky, just like she kind of puts her head on his shoulder.
You'd probably feel Ricky's arm tense as he grips the bow in his hand. I don't think he would argue, but he would be frustrated at not being able to help.
When this is over, can we come visit you? I've always wanted to go to Narnia.
Again, if a lion could smile.
My boy, the veil is gone.
And that's all the answer he gives.
Oh.
Bubo comes from the sky, whirling and clicking. None of you would understand what the clockwork owl is saying, but it is entirely reflective of Ricky's attitude. Ricky, you would understand that Bubo is saying, wait a minute, we can help. What are you doing? We're here. Have you seen the bow? And it's just this. And Aslan kind of watches as the clock, tracking and obviously understanding what it's saying. And again, with a smile and this time a bit of a snort, as Bubo would light down on the shoulder of Ricky. Bubo knows enough not to continue with this line of assault, but the little clicks and whirs Ricky would realize is the equivalent of Bubo muttering under his breath. I can't believe we're not able to do anything. All the rest of you would hear. And Aslan pads off.
Before
Ricky
he
just
pads off, Heather says, "We'll do as you ask, but I just want to thank you for coming. Thank you."
A single tear that looks to be made of something other than water. It looks more like mercury, comes from the side of his eye and trickles down across his angled jaw.
My dear, you have given everything and defended an age. Nothing could have kept us from here.
We'd do it again. We'd do it again.
I know.
You did good, Heather. She smiles at you.
Too.
You watch him go away. Everybody, just go to your Spotify playlist, if you will. Go down to track number 6 and play a little In Excess. Never Tear Us Apart. Anybody with a condition, it is healed. The presence of Aslan and the charge of the army of Happily Ever After acts as balm to your soul.
And I assume our pride has not refreshed?
You know what? I lied. Pride and luck has refreshed.
Woohoo! Sweet.
Van Halen looks at everybody. We got everyone's loved ones before we took you all into Garrett. All we have to do is get to the farm.
Yeah. And she's gonna look at the other Heather, JD, and Ricky, and she's gonna pull all three of them into like a group hug, like arms over shoulders into a group hug.
Yeah.
Van Halen joins in on that too, by the way.
Oh yeah, sorry, and Van Halen. I'm sorry.
As they're hugging, Ricky just says, "We got the band back together."
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
did. How are you? How's school, man?
Different.
Guys,
You look
shouldn't we just
different.
we can talk on the way. Let's talk on the way.
Okay.
Always down to
We gotta-
business, eh, Heather? She grins.
But he just told us.
Ugh.
I mean, we still have the car that we drove here.
Yeah, free car.
The SUV from the loop, because of the advance and charge of the gremlins, is still drivable, but in a noticeable state of disrepair. It looks as if, I don't know, 1,000 clawed feet ran over top of it or through it. The windows are busted out in certain areas. The leather inside is torn to shit. But mechanically, it seems to be okay.
Good thing it's not your dad's truck, hey?
Yep. But I mean, he looks
Looks-
into it. A lion's going to do about that much to it anyway. And he looks at the cowardly lion.
He's soft.
I mean, most of him.
He
Thank-
lifts up one paw and pops like 3-inch claws out of the pads. I barely
Damn.
use them.
Well,
I didn't even know you had those.
Me either.
Come on, let's go. You still got the keys, Ricky?
left them in the car.
Sweet. And as they're walking, she kind of leans close to Ricky and thanks for saving my ass there.
He puts her arm around Scarlett and says, "Anytime."
You look good. Been working out, I see.
Someone told me if you run, you get places.
Pretty
Yeah,
wise.
you do. Mm-hmm. Shotgun. Yes.
Damn it.
So as you all load in, Lion taking the back, very, very back of the SUV, you are all able to make it out of Garrett without incident, as you're already kind of at the northern end where very little seems to be transpiring. But the sounds that are coming to you from Garrett, because the windows, aforementioned windows, have been removed. And so while it's cold in this December air, as soon as you leave the sunlight, Bazaar doesn't quite sum up the things that you hear. As you're driving past the street, you hear thunder, thunder, thunder. And as you go further in, you see a black car drive by with a red light going across the front. You see the charge of small green plastic army men. You witness them take head-on gremlins as they meet in some miniature version of some massive land war. You see a man dressed only in what could be described as a loincloth of fur and a ringlet of leather, a great sword in his hands, runs forward and says, "By Crom!" But on you pass as the fighting is behind you, as Garrett has the defenders of legend from every conceivable imagination.
Okay, Heather, you didn't tell us you had this many friends.
I didn't know. Do you think this is what the world is now?
I
I
don't-
hope. Well, except for the fighting part.
What?
That the war would be
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
good, I
without that
suppose.
stuff. Yeah.
With just the good guys?
Yeah. Just the good guys.
Yeah. I think they're having to, they're like shouting because of the windows are busted out, so like the wind's coming through.
Yeah, all conversations loud. And again, noses immediately turn red, ears turn red as the cold, because there's no way to really, keep the wind from becoming a wind chill at this point as you're driving through.
Oh yeah, it's freaking December.
It's December and it's snowing.
Yeah.
So, but as luck would have it, about 3/4 of the way to the Lewis farm, the Loop SUV gives up the ghost. It happens about 1/4 of a mile before it actually dies, but you hear the first cough of the motor. And as you kind of stutter and then the transmission engages again, it and to the point where Lion actually says, I think it's sick.
You gonna make it?
Ricky, you
Ricky
feel the power
looks in
steering
his,
go out as
Ricky looks in his rearview mirror at the lion. I don't think it's gonna last. It's very sick.
And the mirror falls off.
right when you say that, you can see the great kind of silvery head start to shake at the idea that they're driving in something that's going to die. Not really understanding, but scared of everything.
It's okay. It's okay, Kitty. It's okay.
I'm not afraid either. I'm not afraid.
No, you got this. We're okay. Just pull over, Ricky. Make it stop.
He does. I'm imagining it doesn't have much longer, and he gets it off the road at least.
You drifted over, yeah, and the SUV almost apologetically, as if it's sad that it can't finish the trip with you all, it just sputters to a glug, 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 glug.
Whoa. All right, everyone, remember where we parked. And she will holler. And she's still got the bat with her.
Ricky pats the dash of the car and says, "Thank you for getting us to save the others. The time is done," and he climbs out.
You all begin the walk. It's a relatively short distance, maybe a 15-minute walk to the Lewis farm from this particular position along the rural route. As you're walking, Van Halen comes up to Ricky, and you can tell that she wants to hold your hand, Ricky, but she's not putting her fingers. She's worried about the others. You don't know how you know this, but it's a sense that you're getting. You can feel like the trepidation in her touch. A couple of her fingers actually kind of like touch the back of your hand and then pull away, kind of pushing it off like it's just the stride or the swing of her hand. Ricky, she says.
"You're right."
She looks up and as she continues to walk, says to you, I was standing, you were there. Two worlds collided. I need your help.
"Anything. What can I do?"
I was, when my mission was done, I was told that I would be able to meet my father. He lives here. He lives in this world. He is a great leader. He rules with love and compassion, and he makes his followers very happy. We've never met, but he knows me. He wants to meet me desperately, but I can't wait to see him, but I can't help but be scared. I know he'll be happy when he sees me, but I'm still scared. Will you go with me?
"Of course. Do you know where he is?
Yes,
Do you know his name?"
it's far to the north. I don't know his real name. They didn't tell me.
"Would you recognize him when you saw him?"
She shakes her head.
"And when you say far to the north, within Garrett or further
She shakes
north?"
her head. Farther north. And you can tell that in the year that you've left, where this being used to believe that you could walk from street to street and season to season, has learned enough about this world that directions and indications and distances seem to be more in line with your own understanding of them, Ricky. Van Halen, she has learned, and she is not lying. It's to the north, far from Garrett.
Well, I'm too young to just take a car and drive, but I'm sure we can make a plan.
And again, you feel that kind of brush of fingers against the back of your hand. Thank you.
Is she standing next to me or where is she standing in relation
Right,
to
shoulder to
Ricky?
shoulder with you as you're walking down the road.
He puts his arm around her shoulders and just sort of pulls her in for a small hug and says, "I've got you." And he keeps his arm around her shoulders as they walk.
She falls into you. All that can be heard is the sound of a lion crunching through a thin pack of snow, and all of your footsteps as you. It's silent here, no traffic. The sounds of the Battle of Garrett were lost many miles back. You are just here in the country, heading towards the Lewis farm. You have a few minutes, my friends. How do you spend them?
I think Scarlett would ask JD and Heather about what happened with them.
Well, we played chess. Yeah, it was different. It was against I don't know, some guy wore fancy clothes.
Scary chess.
Yeah, the pieces would attack each other and they'd sink down like quicksand if,
It
the
was
other one won.
the king from The Princess Bride, you know?
Humperdinck, I
Wow.
think is his name.
Humperdinck.
Yeah,
He was
Humperdinck,
kind of a
something like
jerk. You
that.
wouldn't have liked him.
Yeah, he's a cheater.
Probably
But we beat him.
not. But I never saw that movie. Huh.
Yeah. How about you guys? You guys seem like you guys got it worse than us.
You should have seen Ricky and Jerry.
See the lightning?
Jerry shoots freaking lightning bolts out of his hands.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Mitch, Shannon, and Rob didn't do anything like that.
No, Shannon was just mean, and Mitch was
She-
kind of just like, I don't know.
I wouldn't say she was
Frantic.
mean, but she was straightforward and kind of,
She did
She-
seem
yeah.
pretty mean.
But Rob was
Rob
all
was
right.
nice.
He was
yeah,
very
Rob
nice.
was nice. Yeah.
He seemed nice for the quiet one.
I hope
Yeah,
he
Mitch
finds-
said Mitch was saying that everyone was trying to kill him. So, like,
I don't know what's up with
everyone who's ever met him, you think, or and she kind of
Probably.
smirks.
I'm not so sure, but I'm pretty sure Shannon is a vampire because they made too many. I don't know. It was
Well,
weird.
I mean, the Butts kid was a robot. He had like the
What?
red eyes and everything.
Yeah,
And Scarlett trying to punch him, and it didn't really do anything.
it
Oh,
hurt.
but it turns out that Rob's not a robot.
He isn't,
Nope. He said he's not.
but he's related to Optimus. He thinks.
Well, I think I think it's his heart dad, you know?
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Not like a real thing. Well, I
I hope he finds him.
yeah. Do you know? She turns to Ricky. Do you know So you don't know where he went, do you?
Where?
Freaking
Who went?
lost Optimus Prime.
We went into the days and never saw him when we got back to the farm.
And she starts looking frustrated again. So much stuff we could have done.
Ricky thinks really hard, but we did still have to fix the silo.
So we know he was real. We all saw him. But you didn't see any more of those gremlin things, or
Not during the time that I can remember.
man.
Well, how's everybody doing? This has been crazy. Is everyone okay?
Like today or overall?
Both, I guess, but overall, I suppose. We've been nonstop. I mean, we were doing rushing from one place to the next, and then all of a sudden we were, I mean, it was what? Darkness for a year. And then this. I mean, Ricky, you were awake, but I have to imagine it was probably harder for you. We didn't know. We just woke up.
Well, school was a long time. On the way out, I met with Van Halen, and he pulls her closer again. She helped me remember. So the whole time I was away, I remembered everything we did, and all I did was prepare. Didn't really get to know anyone at school, but
you got to keep your memories.
yep, I was outside of Garrett.
Van Halen just nods.
Oh, Ricky pulls his backpack off and digs into his backpack, and he pulls out a stack wrapped in twine, and he hands one to each person, and you can see it's all a stack of letters that Ricky has written while at school. I wrote you all letters while I was gone, but there was no point sending them because you wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
But if we get through this, at least you've got it. And he hands each one of them a stack of letters.
When we get through.
Yeah.
Almost there.
This is awful. JD, I am. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go.
I just wanted you guys to know that that I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I'm good. And I wanted to tell you guys about something, if it's okay. I guess where to start. JD, I think I forgot to thank you about the 4-leaf clover, and she pulls it out of her pocket and has it kind of cupped in her hand. It's small though, you can't see it through the cup of her hand. I'm sorry, I didn't thank you then. I think it's just everything was just so fast,
Yeah, you don't have to apologize. It's okay.
But I thought about it a lot while I was sleeping. I saw it. I pictured it in my dreams. It 4 leaves, and each one is shaped like a heart, and they're all linked in a circle. And it's lucky, and it's magical and rare. Like you can look for fields and fields and not find anything like it.
Yeah, reminds
Just
me
like
of you.
us. Just like us. 4 hearts all drawn together for a special purpose.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, Scarlett, your guns, they come from these books. The Gunslinger, Drawing of the Three, and in them, a group like us, we're called a quartet. And sometimes there's wonderful people who come along, and she kind of looks over at Van Halen, and they join in. But at the heart of it all is always the core quartet, and everyone together, they're just like the family that you always should have had, just like us. And you guys are the family that I always should have had.
She puts her arm over Heather's shoulder.
Scarlett, I just I don't know what's going to happen, and so I just, before everything, since we're here, I just thought I should let you know that I've always looked up to you, because you're really fierce and you're courageous, and you go out and you fix all the things that are wrong with the world, and you just never give up.
Whoa, don't give me too much credit. And she gives her a squeeze.
No, Ricky, you were a hero. You were my hero long before you went and got all those muscles at school, before all the stuff with the loop. Just the way that you always stood up to the kids at school. And you have the purest heart. And if anybody hurts it, I don't know, I'm not violent, I guess. I don't know.
She taps the bat.
Yeah, I'll
with
tell
her
Scarlett, that's what I'll do. JD, you're smart, and of course, but when I'm around you, I always feel like I belong, and yeah, I think I would call you cautious, but you always make sure that we don't make dreadful, terrible mistakes, like getting blown up at that door. And, you were the one that said that we needed to stick together if we were going to survive all this. And I'll tell you something else, JD. I think maybe I'm wrong. But no, I know. It was always you and me, you and me at the center, from that very minute that Mr. Singh introduced us after class. And I think, sometimes all the years that were leading up to that, they could be sometimes pretty awful. But, if all of that hadn't happened, maybe we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here in this moment. And we wouldn't have had that chance, where I could introduce you to Ricky, and then you could introduce us to Scarlett, and then we could, achieve our special purpose. But Jesse, I think it was just always you and me drawing us all together. And now, look at us. What do you see, 4 hearts linked. Anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you guys.
She just squeezes her again.
I
You're
don't
one
know
of the
what
good
to
ones,
say,
Heather.
but I would do whatever I could to help all of you. I wouldn't change what's happened, really, for anything. It's been weird and hard, but I think it's worth it.
I agree.
Scarlett, as you have your arm around Heather and you kind of pull in and give her that hug, and you see nothing in your periphery, but when you pull back, you realize that there is a handle of a sword sticking out over the shoulder of Heather. You see the Vorpal sword's hilt and the eldritch spin of magic creeping down over the scabbard that is now slung over Heather's shoulder. It's so light that, Melissa, I'll leave it to you whether or not Heather would even know it's there. But Scarlett, you are close enough and in contact, so you actually feel its arrival. The last of the legends and the last of the weapons of the paperback exchange gifted to her warriors.
And she just kind of grins and yeah, we may have been broken or separated before, but you were with me. And she pats the guns on her hip. Told you, your magic or whatever. You did this.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Yep.
The lion looks up. Of course you had her.
Oh, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I didn't read any of those books or watch any of those movies until I became friends with you guys. There's no way I could come up with this on my own.
Ricky turns around and starts walking backwards, and he looks and he just points to a giant lion. He says, "None of us knew. A giant lion. The general lion, Aslan, he knew you by name.
Yep.
He walked to you."
When you say giant lion, your lion shoots his gray head over his shoulder. Where? Huh? And then realizing what you're saying, calms down.
You're a giant lion too, kitty.
Right. Pads off in silence. With you in silence.
I guess I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't know. I feel like these things just happened, but I'm glad it happened with you guys. And I think it was always meant to be with you guys. That's what I was trying to say. We're the right people to do the special job.
A few steps go on as you guys continue towards the conclusion of your journey, and Van Halen would break the embrace reluctantly with Ricky and kind of stop to allow the rest of the group to kind of pass, and she would take up again on the opposite side of where the lion is walking with Heather, and not conspiratorially, but quiet enough where the rest probably couldn't hear, leans into Heather's ear and says, "You are the daughter of two worlds."
Sister?
She says no more.
Heather nods at Van Halen. Okay.
Ricky, you would see the end of the long driveway that is the exit of the Lewis farm to the rural route and points east and west. And as you turn down it, Ricky, roll me an investigate.
No successes.
Again, you may use luck, you may use your pride, or you may push for a condition. Up to you. You, of course, do not have to do any of this. This is just a roll.
Go on then. Let's spend that luck point. We only have one. One success.
Okay, so you almost miss it. You just see it and dismiss it at first, but it's because it's not along the driveway proper. You see just off and into what would be the drainage ditch or the runoff ditch to catch water as it comes off of the hill from the farm. Most farms have these because of the flat nature. You don't want the fields to flood, especially if there's a heavy rain. So there are these deep ditches. And along the kind of the blind wall of one of them, you see footprints. And with that success, you can tell that there are 4 of them.
Are they heading towards the farm?
Towards the farm.
I think in this, Ricky breaks off the road, stops, looks down at the footprints, realizes the direction they're going, and he looks back to the others. There's 4 people have walked this way towards the farm. Do they look like adults' shoe sizes or kids' shoe sizes?
Neither. They look like teens' shoe sizes.
Doesn't look like the adults who were told. Doesn't look like it's the adults that we were told were heading this way. Shoe prints look a bit too small for that.
Scarlett's gonna go over and investigate a little bit.
Well, the farm was sold, right? So maybe it's just people kind of who own it now. I don't know.
She looks at her watch.
He puts his boot his boot next to the footprints. Just, I mean, similar size footprints to ours. So,
Wow.
Could be the owners, the future owners' kids, I suppose.
Well, should we? Doesn't seem right.
No, but maybe we should just be cautious.
So
Yeah.
I'll ask the questions, my friend. As you're progressing, presumably, or if you've stopped, if you continue your journey to the Lewis farm, do you do so with speed or with stealth?
Hey guys, I pull out the ring that's in my pocket. I got mine
Wow.
too. I could sneak forward.
My friends, I'm going to interject here for just 1 second because at this point, and I don't know what everyone else would have thought as far as, now by everyone else, I don't mean the players, I mean the characters. I don't know what Scarlett, I don't know what Heather, and I don't know what Ricky would have thought, but the rest of your items, your weapons, your gifts of the paperback exchange are very visible. A twin gun rig on the hips of Scarlett, a sword on the right now on the back of Heather, and a bow and quiver being wielded and carried by Ricky. I went back and watched the episode of the Battle of Paperback Exchange. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw JD put the ring on or how he got where he got. And no one ever saw him wearing it. So this presentation to you all is the first time that it has been revealed that he is in possession of the ring. Now, again, this might not mean much to Scarlett. This might not mean much to Ricky. Heather, I'll leave it all up to you. Back to it, my friend.
You got a ring?
Not a ring. I got the ring.
Well, wait. No, I don't think you should use that, JD.
Can I see it?
Wait, stop. No.
What?
It's a.
Huh?
Is it like a wedding ring?
No.
No.
It's the one. Are you saying it's the one ring, JD?
Uh-huh.
Heather, in your head, and hell, JD, in your head as well, you both hear one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them.
Where's the nearest volcano?
What? Okay.
You haven't read The Lord of the Rings?
Do I
No.
look like I have time to read Lord of the Rings, JD?
The
I
Hobbit?
don't read.
Haven't you seen the cartoon?
No.
Like my brother watches it, but it looks silly.
It's
You'd
a
probably like
magical
it,
ring,
actually.
but it's an evil ring, JD. Don't wear it. You know what'll happen.
Evil.
It'll corrupt your soul.
Wait, what?
You want to be
JD.
Gollum?
You hear in your head, don't believe everything you read.
Like, everyone kind of used it like once or twice, right?
No.
No?
Wait, have
JD,
you
hand
used
to
it
me.
before?
Give it to me right now. Hand it to me.
Whoa. And she puts her hand on Heather. What happens if you touch it?
No, you just have to wear it. No, I'm so confused. You have to not wear it. Don't wear it, JD.
But
Okay.
JD, in your head, you would hear, everybody assume that only JD can hear it when I'm speaking for the best. You would hear, go ahead and put me down. Give me to someone else. Prove to them there is no compulsion. Otherwise, we're going to be here a while.
Well, what do I do with it? Because I could set it down so that we could go, but then somebody else could take it. I used it once before, and I'm okay.
I got a.
it doesn't
We
seem
can smash it
evil.
with a hammer.
I mean, it was
Can't
taught. No,
smash
hammer
it with
the
the
phone.
hammer.
no, you can't smash it with a hammer.
Keep the farm boy
Yeah,
away
and
from
she
me.
swaps away. He's like,
Before-
duh.
It's a gold ring.
No, it's not. Okay, it's not a gold ring. It's the gold ring. Okay, it controls a bunch of shit. I will agree with Heather, although I want to try it. I want to put it on. It is evil, but it will make me invisible.
I mean,
That
Oh,
that's
I can
seems-
do so much more than that.
That
That's-
seems
And maybe
really handy.
more. I'm not sure, but I know invisible.
That
I mean,
seems
that's-
really handy. That doesn't seem bad.
But in a few years, I could turn into a creature that
No.
crawls around on 4 legs.
What?
Oh, pish posh. I like the football player.
This
Okay.
is how it starts. It starts just like this. You say, I'll just wear it or just use it once. And then you'll say, I just use it twice. And then you'll just say, Well, it's just so pretty. I'll just keep it in my pocket.
pretty.
It won't be a problem if I keep it in my pocket, and then it just goes from there, JD.
Okay, but
you know it.
What?
Think about it this way: if the world ends in so many hours, then
5.
5 hours, then
I mean, maybe with an acetylene torch. Could that do it?
she mentioned
No.
The
volcano.
farm boy away from me.
We would need to find Mount Doom, which is where it was created, to destroy it. I don't think that's going to happen.
Spoiler alert, it's not here.
Ricky just said, I don't think we have a mountain called Doom here.
I'm
that I
sorry.
remember.
I heard you say Mountain Dew, and I'm pretty sure that's not what you said.
No, Mount Doom.
I do love the football player.
She looks at Heather. Okay, something is at the farm, right? And she looks at Ricky, right?
Someone.
We don't know who it is. If he can sneak around invisible, that's huge.
I can sneak around without being invisible. We don't
Yeah,
need
but-
a ring to do that.
Yeah, but you actually have to sneak. If he's invisible, then he can. Can you move normally without? Like, are they going to hear you? As
They
they're
might be
standing
able
there
to
at the top
hear
of the
me,
drive,
but they
shouting
can't
at each
see
other?
me. And I mean, there's snow and different things, but
JD,
I don't have. Yeah,
think about this. Just think about it, JD.
I know,
Just
but I don't want
please.
to. Okay, I'll put it back in my pocket. I don't have to use it. We can go.
Okay, you guys sneak. I will be the distraction. I'm gonna walk. She lowers her voice now because they've been like shouting at each other. I'm gonna walk straight up the drive. I got my bat. I got undefended. See if whoever's here shows themselves. You guys sneak around and try and get behind them.
But,
Whoever they are.
I would agree, but I'm expected to be here.
Yeah, but you're sneaky. I'm not sneaky.
Okay,
at me.
also, I just started thinking about this too, though. Our parents are there, and we haven't seen them in quite some time. Maybe we should go check to make sure they're okay.
She turns to Van Halen. When was the last time we saw them? Actually.
You would have seen them 4 days ago. They won't remember, though. They've been asleep. The only way I could get you all out of Garrett was to put you all asleep.
Wait, how come we're not affected? Is it because of the veil?
I think it's something that the others did too.
Okay, well,
Do you mean the other guy, like the Autobot guys? Girl?
Hold on.
Been
Did you say
handy
our
to have
parents
a
were
year
asleep?
ago.
Not your dad, Ricky. I needed his help.
Okay. But the other parents were asleep in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and people are walking up to it, and there's just a bunch of people sleeping in there.
Yeah, but I didn't know what
We
else to
should
do.
go.
They didn't know who I was, and I couldn't just come up and say, "Hey, come with me." So I had to.
No,
but
that's
it's
fine,
okay.
but it means we need to go. We need to get to the house.
Your dad also hurt his back carrying Scarlett's dad. Don't tell him I told you that.
He wouldn't admit it.
He didn't. I just saw him grab it.
He'll just make me do all the heavy lifting and just say, "It'll make you strong." Ricky starts
Yes.
walking towards the house.
Scarlet goes with him. Okay,
Okay,
how about we walk and you two, because you're sneaky, you guys go together, not separate, and go around the outside and go towards the house.
And JD, if what Heather's saying is about the ring is true, then don't use it. We'll
Yeah, it's
try
true.
and smash it and stuff later.
Okay.
What I said earlier.
And Scarlet kind of, as they're walking, Scarlet looks at JD. It doesn't like just expressionless, just glances at him and then starts walking next to Ricky.
So from my perspective here, we have
Ricky and Scarlett walking the main road up towards the Lewis farm.
Yeah.
We're going to have JD, Heather, Van Halen, and the Lion going around the back to kind of creep up to the property. You know, obviously the farm itself is massive, but you know, you want to just get around the property, correct? Like coming from the silo side of everything.
Yes.
Yeah, like I guess we're going more direct. Like the road, I'm assuming, kind of goes in a straight line right towards the house, and so they will come like.
Because Mike and I have a fondness for logistics. I don't. I would just ask this one question. It's going to take Team Sneak a while to kind of get around. Is Team Straightforward going to wait for them to get into position, or are you just going straight in?
I think maybe we will walk, and then we'll walk at a very casual pace, and then we'll like talk loud, like talk casually. Like we're not whispering to each other. We're just using our regular outdoor voices just to try to get attention. So if there is someone there, they're going to see us and they're not going to pay attention to outside or the people sneaking, hopefully.
Very good. So with Team Sneak, I will ask for a combined roll from both Heather and JD for stealth. JD, if you use the ring in your pocket, you don't have to make a roll.
Just think how cool.
Oh, Greg, I am so tempted, but I think JD doesn't want to make Heather mad. So,
well, then the ring would say, "Let's put a pin in this."
I want to so bad. Here's a sneak. Bummer.
Heather,
I'll use my luck.
Heather, as she's sneaking, oh, excellent, has Kitty by the arm and has held up her finger to let him know to be quiet.
Luckily, the Lion is very good at hiding, so he also does not have to roll. I would never make an NPC give you all away. So for the purposes of this mechanical thing, the Lion and both Van Halen succeed. And as it would appear, the two of you do as well. So you're able to creep around the outside of the farmstead residential area, the farmstead house proper. And as you come around, a couple things that you notice that there is a for sale sign already on the property. It's different than what you would see in town with like a realtor tag, and it's more of like an agricultural thing. But the for sale sign that was posted there out of absolute just you crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, the sold sign is already dangling from it. And dangling from that, it says property of Alta. So as you all creep around to the backside, I will allow you to roll me an investigate, but this is going to be a difficult success. So one of you can roll. The success, though, has to be at least a 2.
Investigate, you said?
Investigate, please. So one of you can roll.
Melissa, do you have a... Okay, you do you, then. I got mine's 7, so you got one more than me.
See if this goes. Nope.
You can re-roll with luck. You keep your original success, so you don't kind of put that back into the pot. But you can use pride. You can push if you would like to, and you keep the success you already have. Totally up to you, though. It's just a roll.
I will go ahead and push with not push. I'll use luck. I'll use my luck. All right.
Alrighty, so in addition to your first success, as you kind of peer into the gloom, just as you're about 3/4 of the way around what would be the clock, you're going from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock to get around the backside of the farm. You're about 10 or 11, right around where the silo would be as you're looking down into the field, the kind of where the truck would be parked and the flat area beside the farmhouse. and you see 4 individuals staring down the road as if they are waiting.
Do I recognize them?
You recognize Janet Jones.
Heather points at the four kids in the road. That one there on the right, that's my sister.
What's your sister doing here?
I don't know, but it can't be good. And now I'm really worried about the people in the house.
They're
Okay,
all
well-
dressed in black.
I mean, maybe we should go back and get the others, because I don't think this is going to go well.
Okay.
How far
So-
are we?
You're just coming around the bend to what would be the final approach to the house. And I'll give you it for free. You see 4 figures. You're only about 50 yards away from them at the final bend, kind of the rise in the hill as you curl up to the hilltop. That would be where the house sits, and the fields kind of rushing away in all directions, as we described before. There's a slight grade above it where the silo sits, but for the most parts, you have finished the climb. The rest of you, because of your realization, you're almost in position, but the only way to kind of get down there, I'm going to let you know this mechanically, the only way for Heather and JD to get down there to help would be to obviously reveal yourselves. This is, the 4 are now aware of the 2 in Ricky and Scarlett's approach. As you round the corner and look up, you see a girl you probably do not know, both of you, Scarlett and Ricky. No one's ever met Janet Jones, to my knowledge. However, Tom Hoffman is someone that would be recognizable. Peggy Swanson would be as well. And Ricky, you would know Ollie Wright. And as you step forward, Ollie says to Ricky, "It's you or me, Dirty Dickie. No hard feelings."
What the fuck?
You or me for what?
For what's left, you can see he is carrying a blade of some kind.
What are you guys doing here?
Tom steps forward. You know, I'm done playing second fiddle to a girl that made that one decent throw one time.
It's more than one throw, you asshole.
History will see it otherwise.
Yeah,
Pulls
we'll
up a
see.
similar blade, and it's at this point that you realize that both of these are curved. And in fact, since you just saw the lion kind of pop his claws, you realize that that's what these are. There's some kind of claw or nail. And by a nail, I mean that of a beast.
She glances at Ricky.
How close are we to them, Greg? Is it shouting distance or like?
If you've stopped walking, you're 50 yards. If you've continued to walk, you're 25.
I think they would have continued. Well, Scarlett would have continued to walk.
Ricky would lean in towards Scarlett and just says, and it's as if he's quoting again, even if you're competent, appear incompetent. Even if you're effective, appear ineffective. As if he's just reminding himself of things he's read.
Is he talking to himself or to her?
He says this like sideways towards her,
Okay.
but it's him repeating things to himself.
I don't know if I have. They didn't mean to do that. She whispers back.
If they think that we can, if they think we can't do it, they will make mistakes. It's how it works. If they think that they are better than us, but we are better than them, we win.
Got it. So what do you want, Tom? You want me to quit? And I think they're still walking. Maybe they'll stop me about 10 to 15 yards away.
You can see them all now. They're all wearing identical clothing. From a distance, it would look almost like a jacket or a sweatshirt with a hood. But now that you're close, you realize it actually it's more fibrous. Like it looks like fur. It almost looks like they're wearing fur sweatshirts, if that makes any type of sense. It's dark. It's jet black. Listen, I had to make a deal. We all have to make deals, right? Look at how weird everything has gotten.
And you tried to make a deal with me. Remember that one time? And you lost.
I'm not going to lose
But-
again, Scarlet.
You lost
Yeah.
to a girl twice?
He lost to me and Ben.
That he was so little.
It's not that little. And she elbows him.
He pulls up
stares
the
at them.
nail. I was wrong. I'm going to enjoy doing this.
And she's still got the bat on her shoulders, and she just kind of taps it.
The other two, Peggy Swanson, Ollie Wright, and though you do not know who she is, Janet Jones, all make sure that they have these curved nail blades out. But it's Janet Jones, the girl that neither Scarlet or Ricky knows, is the one that turns towards the barn, which is just off to the side, and says, "They're here. We'll keep them from running."
She looks
Everybody.
towards.
Yeah. JD, Heather, Ricky, Scarlet, Van Halen, the Lion. As you all turn to look from deep inside the barn, you see first one great black paw hit the dirt and the snow, and another great black paw hit the dirt and the snow, and a massive wolf, maybe the size of a cow or a bull, comes forward and out. It has a long snout and it has glowing eyes. You see them first before the gloom is fully recessed. You see these eyes leading, and then the paw, and then the paw. As this massive creature comes out, it licks its lips. And Mike got it in chat. This
She
is
leans-
the
she-
Gamork from the Neverending Story.
Okay, she leans into Ricky. This is something I'm not going to know what it is.
I know, but if you shoot it and hit it hard enough in the right place, it'll go down. Same as everything else. And Ricky pulls 2 arrows out of his quiver and knocks them into the bow.
Everybody, this is an amber moment. The ones I like to describe or give you before we get into something that's not fun, something that's violent, something that could be potentially deadly. In this moment of amber outside the Lewis farm on the last night of the 1980s, the greatest decade to ever exist, in this moment in time, all of you have a chance to do something. All of you have a chance to act, and you are all independent of this moment, because even conversation, Ricky to Scarlet, JD to Heather, I'm going to consider that your action. However, one person gets a bit of free advice. JD, you hear in your mind, I can get you there in a heartbeat.
Sorry, Heather. And I put the ring on and I start running.
What do the rest of you do?
Shit.
Does I presume then, given JD just ran, we have seen the wolf.
You all did. You all bore witness to the arrival of the Gamork.
And
Go ahead. G.
no, sorry, go ahead.
Heather still doesn't know that she has the sword on her back, but she, as soon as she realizes the danger, breaks into a run.
Waiting just a split second, the lion, shaking uncontrollably, follows the charge. Van Halen is already rushing stride for stride with you, Heather. Scarlet, Ricky, you said you were going to pull out the arrows. I will allow you to pick a target if you want. Scarlet, tell me what you want to do.
Yeah. What did Janet say that they're gonna keep us from leaving? Like, are they trying to keep us from getting somewhere other than running away?
If you want to take your role to kind of tactically figure out what they're trying to do, just by looking around, the ominous nature of the disguise, not at all. There's no veil or description to what she's saying. It makes it sound like the four of them are going to keep you from getting away so the Gamork can kill you.
Okay.
If there's more to it, though, which there may very well be, you can obviously roll to kind of empathize or try to see through what Janet's really saying. Up to you all. But now, once you have declared your actions, I'm going to need you to make a roll of some kind. JD, hold back for a second. I need a move roll from Heather as she attempts to clear the distance. And I need if it's an attack being delivered by Scarlet and Ricky, I need force rolls. My friends, you are in extended trouble, which means that for you all to win in this conflict, you must get for me with a combination of these rolls 8. So at this point, you tell me 8. 8 gets you through the next couple moments.
Greg,
my friend, yes.
From a tactical standpoint, would Ricky see the 4 people as much of a threat compared to Gamork? And has he seen Heather and the lion charging towards someone? And if so, who?
I will answer the second one first. Yes, you saw the charge. I will allow Heather to say who she's charging towards because the lion is also charging in that direction. And free of charge, everyone else I would have made roll for this, but because of Ricky's training in warfare and tactics, yeah, the big target's definitely on the super huge wolf. The other 4 don't look like they don't together equal one great big Gamork. I will let you know this, though. The claws that are on the paws of the Gamork look an awful lot like the ones that are being held as the blades of these 4.
Heather's charging the wolf, the big threat.
Okay, perfect. In that case, Ricky shouts loud enough that the Gamork can hear him, and just shouts out, We've taken out other mythical evils before, and he just turns and just looses the arrows at the Gamork.
Very good. Scarlet? Oh, everybody, I'm sorry. We're doing this without music. The hell am I thinking? If you could, please go to the second track of the Spotify playlist. Cue up a little Dawkin with some Dream Warriors, if you will.
That's much better than In Your Eyes. That's a nice change. Didn't fit.
I've had to choreograph some weird fights in this one, so.
Dream Warriors, perfect song here.
Ooh, yeah, I think she's going to charge at Tom, I guess, or whoever is standing closest.
Oh, I'll give you Tom. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
So you're making your charge. Are you attacking with the guns or are you attacking with the bat?
I'm in a melee mood, Greg. So she's got the bat.
You don't want to gun down this kid? Okay.
Yeah, who brings a little knife to a gunfight?
Yeah, put a pin in this for a second, everybody. My son is the one that actually told me, he said, you're going to give them guns. That means they have to use them at some point. And I'm like, well, okay. I went ahead. He warned me of this potentiality. So anywho, back at it, everybody. As you charge with the bat, roll me your force. Roll me a force if you haven't already. For Ricky, roll me a move for Heather. JD,
Hello,
what do you want to do?
That's a good question. I think he wants to. I don't think JD thinks he's going to be able to do anything if he sneaks up on the wolf. Like, what is he going to do there? I think he's going to try and tackle one of these 4 and try and get them out of the fight.
So what's your thought process here? You want this person out of the fight. You no longer want this person as an enemy, correct?
Yeah,
or something
correct.
Like that.
Yeah, so I would assume that if I full on sprint towards one of these guys, the quarterback or the bully for Ricky, if I just full on tackle this kid out of nowhere, chances are he's not going to get back up. Hopefully, that's the hope, right?
Gotcha. So you're aiming at which one of them? If she's going after Tom Hoffman, you've got Ollie Wright, who's a bigger kid. You got Janet Jones, and you've got the cheerleader extraordinaire, Peggy Swanson.
Yep. So I'll go for Ollie, and I'm gonna run, and I'll take like my 2 hop steps, and I'm just gonna try and right cross him in the temple.
Sure. Roll me your best skill.
Best, no matter
what it is. I don't care if it applies to this or not. Okay, my friends, what does that give us as far as successes go so far? I believe we have.
I haven't rolled yet, Greg.
Yeah, I'm the only one who's rolled.
I've rolled my move.
Okay, we have 1 success for Heather, 2 successes for JD, which means I'm going to need 5 more kids.
So Ricky hasn't rolled yet, Greg. The reason I haven't rolled yet is this is a tactical thing for Ricky, which is why he's specifically turned and gone for the wolf to try and distract it from Heather. Does my iconic item come into play? So Ricky's new iconic item is the knowledge of Sun Tzu, and it is a force roll. So +2 on that. 1 success. And I would like to use my pride as well, Greg.
Okay.
Ricky's pride is no matter how big they are, with a well-directed force, they can fall.
So with 2 successes by JD and a success by Heather, that gives us 5, my friends.
I'm going to have to push.
Yeah, you're going to push. This will give you a condition.
Yeah.
Everybody, too, I will let you know this. Because this is the finale, if you would like an automatic success, I will give it to you. I just want a condition.
I'd like to push it as well, actually, Greg.
Okay. Now, if you push, obviously, and you're going to get condition anyway, possibility exists you don't get any dice at all, or you get 3. I am here to say, if you take my deal, I guarantee you get a success.
This is like dealing with a ring, Greg. This is like dealing with that ring. It's never good.
Just FYI, there's not much difference between Greg and the ring.
They have the same voice.
That's a sentence.
How dare you? Nice. There we go.
This is a push from Ricky. No further successes. So I'll take my condition.
But
take your condition.
We got it, right?
And I just proved my own theorem as we had Scarlett got 3 and Ricky got 0. So just keep that in mind, everybody, as we progress. So here's how everything plays out. As Ricky goes to fire, Ricky, you're going to succeed because the group succeeded here. And who were you? You were aiming at the Gamork. Yeah. So as you loose and fire these 2 arrows, they strike right where you were saying, just at the flank to kind of interfere with the movement of the joint itself. And the first one enters the fur without any sound. The second one, however, buries itself up to the fletching. And there is a as the Gamork experiences and utters with an exclamation the pain that it has just received. You can tell that it is muttering under its breath, but the language is something you do not understand. It is speaking in the tongue of the nothing. It is speaking in the ending syllables. And as it moves, it focuses now solely on Ricky, those glowing eyes, small to pinpricks. Scarlett, as you charge forward with the bat, what do you do to Tom Hoffman as you take the swing? He is not going to be getting up from this. Again, this is Tales from the Loop, so, caving in his skull like a Mad Max movie isn't necessarily something that we need to do, but ringing his bell is definitely something that is on the table.
Yeah, and so is like snow on the ground, or is it just like straight gravel?
Yeah, there's a nice, about an inch of snow, not a whole lot, but a good bit.
Okay. Armed with her trusty new bat that she's borrowing from George Butts, she runs forward and she's going to like baseball slide and as she slides, she just cracks him in like the knee. And then she comes up behind him and then just kind of like hits him in the back.
He drops silently. With the crack in the knee, there is you can hear the inhalation of breath as if he wants to scream. But with that hit in the back, something happens to him and he drops to the ground. You can see he's breathing. He's not, in any type of health danger, but he just hits the ground. And as he exhales, some of the fine powder of the snow kind of puffs up in front of him.
Yeah, and she's kind of crouched and she stands up. She's like, enjoy the midnight showing of Beastmaster, you dick.
And with that, we go to, let's go to JD. JD, as you, and Scarlett, you would witness this because I'm not letting this go without, because everybody else's attention is elsewhere. As you say this to the fallen form of Tom, you witness JD appearing out of fucking nowhere, just there. And he levels Ollie with a punch. But as soon as his fist hits Ollie takes it and goes down to one knee. And when he looks up, you see that his eyes are completely white. They have no pupils. He stands, almost resets his jaw, resets his jaw, looks at JD and says, "How can I help?" He is no longer your enemy.
She raises the bat and like, the fuck?
Get the wolf.
Reaches down and picks up Tom Hoffman's fallen nail and begins to advance on the Gamork. Heather, with your success roll, you are able to get into the scene of this conflict as you and Van Halen and Lion rush into what is the theater proper of this scrum. As you get there, Janet sees you. And as soon as she makes eye contact with you, she screams, "He blames us for driving you away. Said we helped to cause all of this. I think that's bullshit. I think you are the cause of all of this." You have no clue who she's talking about. But she pulls up one of those curved knives, and you know there's no other target on the field for Janet as she begins to advance on you. Van Halen turns to defend you. The Lion is at your side as we enter into our second round of combat, as the Gamork enters the fray as well. My friends, I'm going to need you to roll me 10 successes. If you roll me 10 successes, you win. JD, roll everything with a +2. The +2 is Ollie.
Okay. And am I rolling just my best?
Tell me
again, or
this is for everybody.
Okay.
If you are continuing what you did last time, Ricky attacking with the bow, Scarlett attacking in general, those are force rolls. Heather, whatever you decide to do, whatever action you decide to take, let me know and we'll decide what to roll. JD, roll your best skill +2. Then you all tell me what you need. You paint the picture for me. This is a story we share, but I will let you know this. For the story to go completely your way, I need 10. Remember my deal. For every condition, I'll give you a success.
I took the condition upset, by the way.
What's everybody else doing?
Ricky just pulls out 2 more arrows, notches them up, and fires again. I don't think he's spotted Janet running after Heather yet.
Okay, I'm going after Heather.
1 success from Ricky. Nowhere near enough.
Wow, I have all them dice, man.
Sorry, so Janet is going towards Heather. Where is Peggy going?
Peggy basically turns and sees JD convert, I should say, Ollie to the cause. And she looks, and in only Peggy fashion, she says, I honestly don't know who the hell you are, but I mean, when anyone even miss you? As she pulls her knife out. I'm sorry, I had to throw Peggy into this shit. She really shouldn't be here, but it's Peggy for fuck's sake. Okay.
Hey, she's a freaking vampire. She can be a beastmaster.
Right.
We need 10 and we have 2.
Heather, when she ran forward, wasn't really thinking things through. She just saw this threat of this big creature attacking her friends. She didn't really consider her sister to be a threat, but now that she's here in this moment in front of this wolf, and her sister is coming at her with a tooth. A claw. She realizes she doesn't have a weapon or anything to do. She's not a combatant. Can she look around? She doesn't know yet that she has the sword. Can she notice the sword?
Absolutely, yeah. The snicker snack of the Eldritch Blade of the Vorpal Sword kind of makes you aware of its presence. And you would hear that. So in that case, as soon as Heather notices that, she kind of chuckles, and, Heather's not, necessarily a chuckler. So this is uncommon. And then she says under her breath, "O fragius Dei, Calu Calais," and she draws the sword. Her move is going to be to attempt to disarm her sister. Very good. You may roll, give me a force roll +2 for the Vorpal Sword, which the Vorpal Sword, to be fair, likes to usually chop limbs and heads off, but it'll do what you say. Well, that's what I had in mind too, but we are where we are. All right. One success. Heather will also take a condition. And can we say upset? Absolutely. That'll give you 2 successes. We have 1 success. We have 4 successes total, I believe, if I'm right.
Yep.
My friends.
I haven't rolled. I haven't made my decision yet.
Sure.
So
I'm keeping up. We have 4 right now.
Yeah. So Heather is attacking the wolf, correct?
No, Heather is disarming her sister, who's just charged in towards her.
Okay.
Right now, Ricky is staring down the wolf by himself, just to set the stage.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously he's standing back a little bit because he's got that ranged weapon. She's gonna turn to Peggy because she doesn't want to leave anybody flanking her. She's just gonna turn to Peggy and say, don't you have a hair appointment or something? And then she's gonna raise the bat. Saw what I did to Tom. You really want to test me?
This sounds more like intimidation, like you're trying to get her to just take off. I will allow you to roll a force roll for this if your intent is to intimidate, to just look so menacing that
can I roll a lead instead?
Sure, why not?
Command the huddle, command this moment. Nope.
Man, I will I'm gonna push for mine. I'll take a condition. I'll take I guess injured. I just punched somebody in the face.
No,
7.
Nobody did roll lead. So you know what? In this moment of mania, who would like to roll lead? You may get some extra. This is completely separate from what you're doing right now. This is for the dice pool that we would have in play. So is there anyone that would step forward to roll lead? Because I know that Scarlett, you can't, correct?
Yeah. Correct, yeah.
Ricky would have 4 dice in that. If anyone's got more than that.
That's more than what I have.
All right, then Ricky will roll.
Bummer.
As fate would have it, Now, of course, I'll allow you to push that roll too. You can use luck on that roll if you still have it. You can do any of the normal rolls you'd like to see if you could add to that pool, or you can save it for the task at hand.
I'm going to save it for the task at hand.
Sounds good. So with that 3 additional, that takes us to 7, I believe, where we are right now.
I'm gonna re-roll my lead against Peggy. Oh, 2.
That's
We are
and I-
1 away then, if that is the case. Now, I'll
Ugh.
let you know right now, special deal. The injured condition will buy somebody a success. Going once.
Ricky will take that.
Oh, I was gonna.
Narratively, potentially on the last time he fires the bow, he fires it weird, and the string catches and pulls along his arm to get him injured.
Sure, absolutely. I'll let you know this too. I'll handle the injured part when it comes to you. That happens, but I like to get the full effect for my money, for my spend.
That's fine, Greg. Could be a broken arm if you want.
All right, friends. So as this goes down, I want you to tell me, is this Scarlet? We'll stay with you as you turn and basically point the bat at Peggy Swanson. What do you say to her that's going to cause her to head for the hills?
Tom just folded like a cheap lawn chair, Peggy. Do you really want to stick around? Is it worth it?
You see something wash over her.
And she starts walking towards her.
Yeah, and with this intimidation, with the bat outstretched, with the perfect example of Tom on the ground, it's almost, you see her face kind of fall as she's shaking her head as if waking up from something. And when she sees what's going on, you can see a look of horror go over her face. Not for the scene, not for Tom on the ground, not for the fact that you're advancing on her with a bat, but she looks down and she goes, "Oh my God, what am I wearing?" And she runs off.
Yeah, you better run.
Yeah, she's not stopping. She's heading straight for the Maplehurst Mall.
If it's still
up.
Yeah.
You're amazing, Greg. That's just amazing.
So yeah, she is removed from the play. Ollie is a friend. Tom is down. Janet is going to be disarmed. And how do you do it, Heather?
I think Heather disarms her with just a swing of her weapon. But once she's disarmed and the threat is no longer there, she has a certain sense of loss of interest in her and really wants to turn her attention back to the wolf. And so she says, just get out of here, Janet, with a kind of level of disgust in her voice. And then she turns her back on her and faces the wolf.
Without the need for a roll, because you all succeeded in this narrative engagement, I will let you know this, that Janet doesn't seem to wake up from anything. She doesn't seem to be under the influence of any other type of power. But at Heather's dismissal of her, she was ready to say something. She had venom on her tongue. She had it dripping from her mouth. But with the utter disregard, the dismissal, in the heat of battle, the ambivalence that Heather had for her, she stops. She seems beaten. And she walks away.
The bat in the back of the head. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
No, I'm just joking.
It's an attention getter.
Yeah.
JD, what are we doing with you, buddy?
Yeah, that is a good question because I was going to go help Heather, but she took care of it. So
well, there's a big ass wolf.
I'm going to go for the big ass wolf. Yeah. Put the ring back on and take off towards him.
As soon as you put the ring back on, you would just hear one word drawn out. Yes. As the world turns black and white, and you would see the Gamork for what it truly is. It is a being of shadow, It seems to be just a blob of cellular kind of ink with those eyes. Even in this netherworld where you are, those eyes still maintain that same glow and same proximity, bearing down on Ricky. As you get closer, what do you do? This is an action that you are close enough to both move and attack. What do you do?
Well, I saw after I hit the kid, he turned to my side, Ollie. So I'm gonna try and do the same. I'm gonna try and like move around and like press, like punch and press the ring to like, I don't know, around like the eye part of the wolf.
So as this happens, Ricky, you are the last to act. You would see appearing on the back of the Gamork is JD, who rears up with this glowing, this, you can see like the red runes kind of blistering off of this ring as he drives it down towards the forehead. What do you do, my friend? As this does not stop the charge of the Gamork, it is going to hit you. It is going to bear you down, but not before you get in your lick. What is your lick, my friend?
This is an action, or is this just something that Ricky gets to say or do? Like,
absolutely. This is Ricky. The Gamork is not going to be around anymore. Between you and JD's influence, what does Ricky do to aid in its expulsion?
Ricky, as it's about to get to him, Ricky drops down to his knee, one knee, and then drives up with his shoulder as it starts to come over him and tries to lift it and push it over him so that JD comes down on top of it and pushes harder into it as it hits the ground on the opposite side of Ricky.
You do this very thing. As you are able to flip it over, it drags its one claw across your chest, though, and you see immediately a dampening of blood across the shirt as it kind of lays you open. But you do grab it, and its massive bulk, you use it against it. You wouldn't be able to deadlift this thing, but because it was charging, it does the work for you as you lift and fly over, as JD is riding now inverted for a moment, coming down. And as JD's fist comes down at the same time that the flip commences and ends and hits the ground, the arrow that didn't do much effect before is driven into the Gamork as it splits into its side, and you see the fur begin to kind of peak in certain areas, not to be too terribly graphic, but it's still among the living as JD drops the ring. For a moment, there is, JD, you're floating in nothing, in like you're inside the inky blackness of this creature. But this nothing has a heartbeat. It has a presence. It has emotions. And it has a goal. But you don't know that last one. For with your punch, you do not convert the Gamork to your cause. You remove it from the field. And in so doing, create a powerful enemy. But as you drive it down, the Gamork holds its corporeal form for a moment, and then, almost as if the insides of the creature were removed, it becomes just a rug. And then, much like the energon that was left before, it begins to wisp and get carried away into the Garrett air. My friends, you are out of combat.
She's gonna run to Ricky. Ricky!
Ow! That, and Ricky just pulls his hand off. His hand is covered in blood from his shirt.
Sit down, sit down.
He takes a seat. That worked, I guess.
Holy crap! And then she looks at JD. Holy crap! And
Yeah, I
then,
was on my back in the snow. Yeah,
you're hurt. Is he really hurt?
I mean, you've seen your fair share of lacerations from the football field. Both you and JD have probably have experienced them, cleats getting hit on people's legs and things like that. It's a good one, but it's not something that, if allowed to have pressure and probably some compression, I mean, it needs stitches, but it doesn't, he's not going to bleed out. It's not a fatal wound or a terminal wound by any measure.
I think you're gonna need some stitches, but
Yeah, there's a
you
kid in
ain't
the
gonna
house.
die.
I think I broke my wrist.
JD,
What?
you okay? And Heather goes to help him up. You all
You
right?
used the ring.
You did. You used the ring, JD.
Cool.
I had.
Did you see how he just
I had to-
appeared on the thing like that?
No, that
Oh,
wasn't
no.
cool, Scarlet.
But
What? It's
he
dead. Or whatever happened.
it did the job, didn't it?
I guess I. Are you two okay?
Yeah. She's
did we
gonna
get
help
you in the
Ricky up.
house?
I'll be all right. There's first aid in the house, definitely. It's just in the kitchen.
In the kitchen you go then, and as soon as you kind of go inside, I'll give you all this for free. You're quickly able to identify with Van Halen's help that all of your loved ones are there. The Blakes are there, Kyle's there, everybody, all of your loved ones and parents are representative. The mayor is there, your mom is there as well, JD, Ricky, your parents are there. Everyone seems to be in a state, not necessarily of sleep, but in kind of lethargy. Like they're just kind of very similar to whenever they said nothing, do nothing in the one episode that we had way back when. They just seem to be fine, but out of it. But as you rush in, you're quickly able to find where Ricky said the first aid kit, which has not been packed yet, was kind of hanging there, a gift from Lewis to who would ever be there next. Of course, Mr. Lewis would think, if someone gets hurt, he wouldn't want to be the cause of them not having a kit. So the kit was left out and you're able to take care of everything.
Don't bleed everywhere, Ricky. This isn't you're gonna be your house any longer.
Yeah, it's not going to be my problem.
She's gonna look out the window. Is Tom still lying in the snow?
He's gone.
Okay. Yeah, she actually goes and looks for him. Not like outside, but she specifically goes to the window and looks.
You would see, and the chaos, you don't really get much, but outside of that realm of massive footprints and fallen creatures and lions and wolves, oh my, you see a pair of footprints that seem to be retreating towards Garrett.
Okay. Yeah, she like leans against like the windowsill and she like has like this sad look on her face. And she doesn't say anything. She just
My friends, the battle for Garrett is out of the Keystones' hands. They have done the impossible. They have saved their loved ones. They have saved the city to the point where they have given it a chance to survive. Now all that's left is to wait and spend the last minutes of the 80s with one another. How do they spend it? What is your dream for each of your characters? It might not be a dream that comes true, but if the world exists the next day and the next year and the next decade, do you have a dream? Have you thought that far? What do Scarlett, JD, Ricky, and Heather do as life moves from the fantasies and adventures of children into the oh so boring realm of adulthood? And my friends, please go to your Spotify playlist, track number 1.
I think Scarlett spends most of her time just staying at the window. Like once it's confirmed that everyone's okay, JD's not going to be turning evil, and Ricky gets patched up. She just like sits at the window at a window seat and like is hugging her knees, and she's just resting her chin and staring out the window towards Garrett, and she's thinking about the others and whatever they're doing. And she thinks like she like lets her mind wander a little bit, and she thinks about like graduating high school, and it's like high summer and she's running out of her house and Ben is there with her, like following her, and you can't they're talking, you can't hear what they're saying, but Ben says something and she laughs, and then like she laughs and she replies, and then he laughs too, and then they have like bags in their on their backs, like backpacks, and they toss it into her Jeep, and the Jeep is like packed full of like camping gear and sleeping bags and junk food, like milkshakes, and their intention is to just drive, like they're gonna take a road trip somewhere, just the two of them, and like maybe even Jerry is there to like help them lift the heavy stuff. And they like poke him, and like they motion towards the truck, like, hey, like, come on, you want to come with us? And he just like, no, and he backs away, and then and then it kind of like pans back as they get in and drive away, and it goes into her room, and that aluminum bat is sitting on like on a post, like a post, like a stand for a display stand, and it's like all polished and shiny, and it has everyone's signature on it. Has like JD, Ricky, Heather, and then Scarlett, and then Ben, and it has the Autobots sign thing as well. Like they probably would sign it in there, so you have like Wheeljack, Ironhide, and everyone's names is signed on it, and it's like, and then she's just keeping it as a memento.
It's fantastic. And so as we, in the mind's eye of a dream that may or may not be, we see this bat signed by Heroes Untold. Where do we go next? What possible dream do we see?
Heather,
Go ahead, Heather. Yeah.
Heather has achieved all of the goals, most of the goals that she would ever have in her life. She has worries right now, but in this moment, she pushes them away so that she can be present with the people who are most important to her in this moment. And as the time passes, from time to time, she is reminded of a dream she had while she was sleeping of a potential future. And it wasn't of a specific event or of anything of import. It was simply being home in a place that she always belonged, and her friends are there, and maybe there is more found family there, and everything is right, and all of the things that are there, the clutter that fills her life, everything has significance, and maybe there is a hint of possible more adventures in the future.
Beautiful. Let's go with Ricky. And yes, you do.
Perfect. Ricky has, so there's two paths that Ricky follows over the course of a period of time in his hopes and dreams. Ricky would follow Van Halen to the north, wherever that may lead. But at the same time, he doesn't stay in Garrett. He does return to school. His time at school was lonely. He was totally on his own. He made no friends in the 3 months that he was there. He was singularly focused. But Ricky returns to school to find that the fact that he was top of his class in a lot of things that he did, he became a relatively popular kid, known by his classmates, doing his sports, his activities that he was doing, continues doing them, and pushing himself in archery. It's something that he's thoroughly enjoyed as much as the adventure was risking their lives. He found a purpose in it. And above his bed in his dorm room sits the bow of Loxley, adorned in all of its finery, as a memento again of the adventures the children shared.
Fantastic. And finally, JD, and I will add one item for you to think. In this possible dream, in this possible future of what may or may not be, it wouldn't take you long to realize that in your Sanctus Sanctorum, the hideout of the Keystones, when opening the crawl space door that would lead out into the unfinished portion of the garage, it now leads someplace very different. It leads through pine trees and into a field that has a lamppost of all things. There was also a note just inside, written in bark in a hand that you do not recognize, but it says, "Welcome home."
So I start kind of freaking out while I'm there. I'm like, I finally found it type thing. And the first person I bring is Heather. And I just say, hey, so you know how I've been reading all the Chronicles of Narnia and how ever since everything, I've just really been diving deep into it. And, you know, there's nothing better than the first one, reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for the first time. And, you know, Scarlet has Ben, and it seems like Ricky has Van Halen. And as you said before, it seemed like, you know, we were the two that brought the group together, and we've had our special times together too. And, well, I thought this would be fun, and I'll show her the entrance to Narnia. Maybe we have our adventure first, but when we come back, we can bring Scarlet and Ricky along with us. But the first time, I would like to visit with you first.
And that's a possible future, a possible place, a possible offer, if dreams are to be believed. But for me, dreams exist where memory meets hope. They grow there, waiting to be discovered, to be realized. Sometimes they become reality, and sometimes they fade. It is rare for a dream to be shared exactly, each unique to the one that dreamed it. As different as Rose in a garden, as Garrett's. Some dreams can be seen now, but who is to say if they will become a truth? Van Halen walks up to an intricate gate of a massive estate. This is the home of her father. She smiles at Ricky and reaches for his hand. With the other, she presses the button beneath an intercom mounted in a brass bracket with purple accents. Above the intercom is a plaque indicating the name of the estate, Paisley Park. I'm here to see my father. I brought the boy I love. A voice says, "One moment." Just a few seconds later, a figure dressed in the purple of royalty rushes from the estate as the massive gates start to open. He doesn't stop and wraps Van Halen in a hug. Both of them shed the same tears, like those of a dove. Finally, he pulls away and cups Van Halen's face. "I've waited so long, Daphne. You're home now, my princess." His tear-filled eyes turn to Ricky and he smiles. "Come along, young suitor. I have questions for you both. I've heard quite a few, but maybe you could tell me one more tale." Scarlet Blake points and shouts just as she called out blitzers on the football field, audibling instead at the sight of a residential fire in Garrett. As she calls out the play, her team of firefighters rush to action, following the once and future quarterback into hell itself. Scarlet has been and forever will be a leader, one that draws danger to her to save those she loves, one that listens to and respects the opinions of all that share with her. The adventures of her youth never escape her thoughts. And though so very happy in her life, she sometimes longs for the freedom of the quest, the siren's lull of the mystery presented. She sometimes wishes for just one more tale. Cowboy hat resting on his head and a federal marshal's badge and credentials on his belt, Ricky Lewis shakes the hand of the President of the United States while accepting the physical thanks of a grateful nation. In the audience, his family listens to the president recount his seemingly limitless acts of valor and duty. There's even a Sun Tzu quote. Ricky's wife, Daphne, and his family watch and smile from the seats in the audience, all save his father, who, despite his old age, leans against the frame of one of the auditorium's rear doors. He doesn't hide the tears on his cheeks. Ricky himself takes pride in his accomplishments, but there is that pang against the back of his heart, the one that craves the fantasies of his youth, the one that wishes that there had been one more tale. JD, ever so much older than 14, sits crisscross applesauce talking to a group of second graders. And then the Power Rangers helped us find Micah's little sister. JD writes everything down in a leather-bound journal with a crystal-adorned bookmark, at one point loosening the tie around his neck as he works. The door to his office opens, and a young man pokes his head in. Mr. Mayor, they need you at the Board of Education meeting. Mayor Jesse Davis smiles and politely ends one of the countless unofficial meetings he has with Garrett's youth. For you see, Mayor JD doesn't dismiss the imaginations of children. Oh no, he listens and remembers, and prepares his city in case evil ever threatens them again. He loves his job, takes pleasure in going to work every single day, but he always wishes, especially after his meetings with the children, he always wishes maybe, just maybe, there could have been one more tale. Heather hugs her children every morning, every day, and every night. She smothers them in love, but does not suffocate them. She takes them on adventures of the mind through the books of her youth. She takes them on adventures of the heart through recounts of her own fantastic tales, with the names changed, of course, to protect the innocent. Her kids love the stories, but most of all, they love her. They are loved. They are happy. They are all children of the sun, and their word for heaven is mother. Heather's favorite thing to do is share the latest chapters of her own current novel as she writes them. Never Say Never is nearly finished, but as she sits to write, Heather realizes that it is almost complete, and her mind wanders, as it often does, thinking, what if there was one more tale? But those are my dreams for the Keystones. Who is to say if they will come true? Now, on Raven's wings, we take to the sky, and for the first time, we fly away from Garrett, our tale complete. And that's where we end this series of Atari Twilight Twist of. We are ripped away from the Raven, from the skies, and thrown violently back to the Lewis farm. A silhouette bathed in darkness manifests on the corner of the kitchen with a smile. Oh, not so fast, Mr. GM. This story isn't over. Not by a long shot. We have unfinished business. In the kitchen on the Lewis farm, from nowhere, Randall Flagg appears. Please turn off Over the Rainbow. What do you do, Keystones, as Randall Flagg, leaning in the corner, makes a comfortable presence here in the Lewis kitchen?
I think Scarlett jumps up, immediately torn from that dream that she was having, with like the wind in her hair, like the warm wind in her hair. And she's like, you. And she glances towards Heather to see where she is.
You're all there. Van Halen is there. The Lion is there. Your
What-
parents are in another room. This is just you.
What are you doing here? Are you kidding me?
I am not.
Are you hiding from the war?
It's not my war.
You came here to do something.
Destroyed a universe to come here and be like a high school bully?
He seems offended. Of course not. Listen, I haven't come here to fight. Quite the contrary. I have an offer.
What could you possibly offer us?
Well, you have dreams and things that may or may not come true. I can promise you fact and actuality. You're ready. You weren't all those months ago outside of Castle Grayskull. Now you are. You see, the worlds need strength to guide them, to help them. Sometimes that strength needs to be gifted by dark-hearted killers. Sometimes that strength needs to come from a place of love, but it must come from the strong. You see, I'm tasked with understanding what the worlds need and giving it to them. Believe it or not, my work is vital to the spinning of these worlds. Have I been a villain? Of course. Have I been a hero? Yes, I have. Can I be both when the world's needed? Absolutely. For what it means, my favorite song isn't Sympathy for the Devil. Ask her, points to Van Halen. She knows the truth. Ask her if I've been known to help.
What is he talking about? She looks.
Van Halen keeps her eyes on Flag. He has, but he doesn't listen. He doesn't follow any rules. He does what he wants and doesn't ask permission. She looks at all of you. He's not in a band.
That's, you see, the definition of heroism is doing the right thing. Doing the right thing no matter what. But injuring people and hurting people, that's not heroic. So how can you class yourself as a hero? And if what Van Halen is saying is that you don't follow any rules.
Look where their rules got them, Ricky. And he indicates the area, even though you know he means Garrett. I wanted to stop Arkaville and the Walker in the 60s, but they wouldn't let me. Said it would disrupt the balance. And look where we are. I'm done following the rules of some ancient agreement, and I am done with dark-hearted killers. You see, Maggie has her kids, her champions, her legacy. I want my own.
Can
Don't
she-
have much of a reputation?
Heather, I do what needs to be done. I have been a hero. I have been a villain. But what I have done has kept the world spinning. Legacy is a big deal, Heather. It's larger than oneself, and if managed correctly, can conquer all space and time. He looks at all of you. Do you think it was a twist of fate that brought you here to Garrett? A twist of fate that convinced JD's aunt and uncle to bring him here? A twist of fate that had the mayor sign JD up for football? A twist of fate that in turn led JD to Scarlet? A twist of fate that spun Heather's circle into Ricky's. A twist of fate that led you all together. No, it was me.
So you are saying that none of that would have happened without you?
In all the worlds that I have walked between the rows way before the Walker, it has never happened. The four of you, and he looks directly at Heather, like hearts that have touched. You never touched in any other world except this one. Could it have happened? Maybe. But I made sure it did. Something's going on here. Some type of game, and stakes are all of us. I am done being manipulated and used. I am finished with the lies. I intend to take back my fate and the fate of all of us. I can go anywhere, any when, to figure out this mystery. And that's exactly what I intend to do. There is an age of always out there, and somewhere in it is the answer to this mystery. but I need help. I can go everywhere. I can be anywhen. I can see everything, but I can only ever see it with my own eyes. I need fresh perspectives. I need to learn as much as I teach. That's why I need all of you.
As he's been talking, the bat is in her hand, and she's slowly been sidling over to be in front of, like, almost in front of Heather.
You said you were tasked. Tasked by who?
My dear boy, by the same entity that tasks your lion friend, the same entity that tasks your Optimus Prime, same being that tasks Maggie. I'm here to keep the worlds moving, not to let them get torn asunder, be used, be squeezed.
Isn't that all you want to do with them? You just want to be the one doing it.
I only do it when I need to. Now we need to save them.
Have you ever heard the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions? It's not enough, to want good. You also have to do good.
Well, I agree. I think that's why I need all of you. We will travel the world, see things that pale your very notion of fantastic. I will teach you all I know, and you will tell me what you see. If you see me stray, you tell me. If you see something that needs fixed, something that needs done right that I miss, you tell me.
Scarlet starts to chuckle a little bit. You think that's what I want? You think I've busted my ass ever since I was a little kid to get where I am just to follow you, some guy, and tell him what he needs to be doing? What am I going to be making your sandwiches next? You said you put everything in motion to put us here. You don't know us. If you think that we're going to take this asinine offer of yours, you shove it up your butt.
My dear Scarlet, I think you misunderstand me. I don't mean to lead you at all. If anything, I follow.
I have a dream.
And you'll keep it. I'm not like one of these ancient magics. I'm not going to take a year of your life. When we are done, I will bring you right back here to this minute. You will be the same age you are now. Unlike the foes we face, I will not steal years from you. Your lives will not be missed or lost. No, I'll be right here waiting for you.
What happens if we say no?
I can't stop you. We don't fight. This will be the end.
If this was your end goal before, why didn't you come to us with this proposal at grade school?
You weren't ready. I had to be sure.
And what told you we were? That because we're here now?
You all made it here.
Ricky looks to JD. You can't take an army unless it's prepared. Let's be honest. Before all of this, would any of us been able to do anything that we did today? Just
I agree with
2
you on
years
that.
ago?
What are you guys talking about?
We've gotten better, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a test, an interview to see what we were capable of.
I didn't set up the test, but I couldn't let it not happen.
Who set it up? You put us together, so someone set it up.
She looks at Van Halen.
Arkeville, the Walker. They have set something in motion, but there's something else. Somebody's manipulating everything. They keep changing it over and over again.
Who's the false?
I can't wait to find out.
You said that we would be the ones to hold you accountable. But how are children supposed to stop you if you decide that you don't care what we say?
You
And
can be
instead you decide
anywhere
to
and
destroy a
anywhere.
world?
I renounce my power except for the ability to travel. He looks at Van Halen. I could do that, right? Van Halen shrugs and raises her eyebrows. Technically,
Why would Van Halen know? Van Halen, why would you know what he can do?
I know the stories.
Do you have an idea of who we're trying to stop, what we're trying to find?
Just whispers. She nods her head at Flag. I mean, he used to be a knight a long time ago. I don't know if he still is one.
You haven't given us reason to trust you.
Haven't, and how do we know that you're telling us the truth? How do we know that you'll keep to the commitment that we'll do good for the sake of good?
I'll join your band.
That requires agreement from every member. And he looks to Van Halen.
Van Halen looks back at you, Ricky. If he agrees using the word, then yeah. Flag nods his head. I'll agree with the word.
What is the cost if we choose not to do this?
There's no cost, Heather.
To
You
the
go
world?
on about your life.
No, not to
No.
us. To the world.
The world's going to pay a price because there are forces that are changing it, hurting people, stealing things. I can't
So-
stop them by myself.
Feeling
What about the other forces that are working to stop them? Like the
They can only-
Autobots.
They don't know about what's going on behind. They may still fail. Everything hangs in the balance. We're talking about eventualities that may be over by this time, midnight.
Guys, I don't
I
like
have-
it, but we might have to. We can't stop doing the right things.
With JD,
I mean, like I said, I don't like it, but then everything we just did might not mean anything.
Ricky looks at Heather and says, has he actually done anything against us that we know of?
well, he he tried to stop us in Castle Grayskull. I thought that's what he was trying to do, but I don't know. I guess
What were you trying to do at Castle Grayskull with us? You trying to stop
Swayed
us?
you.
Swayed us in which way?
If you turned around and went home, I would have had my answer.
If you
The
are
whole
as
thing was a test.
well, you're surely powerful enough to have stopped us there. If you've got to give up some power,
Absolutely.
could you have stopped us if you had chosen?
He smiles, a wide smile of brilliant white. Perhaps I could have.
when you think about it, did you really, guys, really think that I could, with my strength, push him away? Probably
His,
not.
his smile drops a little bit. Don't sell yourself short, Heather.
Ever. You could do that. You did that.
I told you before, and I'll tell you now, I can teach you. I can show you how to do everything I do.
If we didn't turn, if we had turned around that day, Van Halen would have been. She wouldn't have been freed.
Kid Chris?
Yeah, we don't know what happened to Chris, but he would have still been captured.
My friends, I ask you this. I will give up the power to do the evil that which you think I'm capable. I will swear by the word. I ask you this, will you join me? Uncover the forces that are manipulating us, causing us pain and robbing us of our free will. I can only bring you all together. It is up to you to stay together. Are you ready for one more tale?
And
As I said, if all band members agree, I'm in.
Van
Sorry,
Halen nods.
did Heather and JD say yes?
Scarlett, if we don't try, what could happen? It would be if we didn't try now. I'm tired
we can
too,
make
but
we can make the right choices along the way, you know? Every step of the way.
Remember
together.
what I told you about choices, Heather?
If he doesn't have the power to do evil and we are directing things, that at least leaves it in an opportunity to do this right. He's clearly done this, and he side-eyes him. He's clearly done this wrong in some worlds.
He nods in agreement.
We can make sure he does it right. Otherwise, he doesn't give anything up, and he goes on. Again, he side-eyes him, destroying worlds and destroying lives.
can't do it
Only-
without you.
Only one correction, Ricky. I can only do any of those things and that you speak of if you all agree I get my power back. That's the word.
So you agree to give it up, and we have to agree for you to get it back.
That's it. Every member of the band, excluding myself, of course.
Well, you're not in the band yet.
As you say.
And I think the bat falls from her hand, like clatters on the hardwood floor. And Scarlett just hangs her head.
What's wrong?
Maybe a tear comes down her cheek.
Whatever you decide, it's okay. It's okay. And Heather puts an arm around her shoulders.
She might actually lean away from you, like, ugh.
Sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
You ready to be done?
I'll do it. And she'll walk away and go back to the window.
Flag nods. Then it's done. Van Halen says, so what is it? What's what? Your favorite song? Randall Flagg smiles. My friends, go to the very last track of your Spotify playlist. And so a fellowship is formed. Questions, concerns, sadness, and joy. Its potential outcomes. This fellowship could unravel the mysteries surrounding them all. That's another story. That is Atari Twilight, the Age of Always. And so we end our session, but not our tale, for ours is a never-ending story. Over to you, Mike.
With that, we conclude Atari Twilight Twist of Fate. Or do we? That is it for us, guys. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go do an after show. We're going to decompress. We're going to talk about all of this. And if you guys want access to that after show and this discussion, please, you can get that over on our Patreon. Link for that is right down below in the description. Join us over there at the $5 tier. But before we do that, let's go around and say goodbye one last time to the cast of Twist of Fate. Starting, of course, with G. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I'm G, your friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. You can find me here on everything unMadeGaming for modding and for the Patreon games. You'll find me back here at 4 p.m. Eastern today for the Patreon campaign with Chris here for the Rise. And next weekend for the Patreon one-shots. Yeah, and follow me on Twitter, I guess. LightningSpaz09. And in the Discord.
Perfect. Chris, over to you. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I'm Chris, aka Necro. You can find me in the Discord, probably rewatching all of Atari Twilight and all of Twist of Fate again, because there's so many questions still. And also you can find me in the Rise, which is a little bit later this evening, and next week on the Patreon one-shots.
Perfect. Melissa, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm a fan of all of these people. You can find me here crying all the time. Love you guys.
Perfect. Mitch or Bacon, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Yeah, I am Bacon. I stream on Twitch as told by Dice. We're doing a 5th edition's open sandbox game set in Icewind Dale called The Long Winter. So if you want to check that out, it's Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll have our 4th session here on this upcoming Tuesday. It's been going well.
Perfect. Definitely go check that out, guys. But last but not least, Greg, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Greg, Grimjack21502. I'm not on the social medias, but you can find me over on the unMadeGaming Discord. Just make sure you at me. I'm too old to find me. But everybody, I love this cast. I love the cast of Atari Twilight Wednesday nights as well. This whole family, this whole space is amazing. Great community. If you're joining us for the first time, you have found a good place. So just come over, talk, commiserate, all things nerdy. You're home.
Hell yeah.
Back to you, Mike.
With that, we conclude this finale. But next Wednesday, we start the 2-part finale of Atari Twilight as a whole. Atari Twilight Rollout concludes with part 1 next week, part 2 the following week, and that is it for this tale in the 80s. So that we leave you. That's all for us. So from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.